habits prone to get easily distracted. Your attempt is only as good as what you practice. If you a practitioner of sin, homie, you a bastard. It take obedience and faith to be a child of God. Confess with your mouth and not with works, that's what we call a fraud. Get on the narrow path to destruction is on the broad. Even then, watch for the hook, gotta keep up your guard. How you be quoting the Lord's prayer but don't submit to God? How you think you gon' get the kingdom if you don't play your part? How you gon' comprehend the light while living in the dark? How you gon' choose what's wrong or right if you don't study his law? If it ain't in Yah's will for me, don't want it in mind, his laws and ways constantly be on my mind. Definitely ain't it. If he don't want it in mind, his laws and ways constantly be on my mind. All praise to the Most High, that's who I do it for. I just wanna edify, don't need no recognition, ain't no one to magnify. He been so good to me, I just wanna testify, so let me testify. All praise to the Most High, that's who I do it for. I just wanna edify, don't need no recognition, ain't no one to magnify. He been so good to me, I just wanna testify, so let me testify.
Let me testify about how good the Most High been to me. I was given Ruach 2017, he visited me, gave me the commandments, then he laid out all the history. Studying the writings drew me deeper in calligraphy. One sinner repents, angels rejoice and hear the symphony. Raining blessings down physically and spiritually. Body bag my flesh, killed all the wickedness specifically. One shot, one kill, a true vet in this game, I mean statistically. You heed the coach instructions, you win rings, but this the mystery. We play the game, the outcome been decided, yeah, he been with me. I dodged the pen in life and sin for down and got back up again. I took my hand and took my pen to write.
All praise to the Most High, that's who I do it for. I just wanna edify, don't need no recognition, ain't no one to magnify. He been so good to me, I just wanna testify, so let me testify. All praise to the Most High, that's who I do it for. I just wanna edify, don't need no recognition, ain't no one to magnify. He been so good to me, I just wanna testify, so let me testify. I gotta testify, but I never took a stand. When I was faced with consequences, I endured them like a man. I failed while I was trying to execute my plan. Being Yah's will is detrimental, back then I ain't understand. Get glory in the street, my biggest enemy was me. I ignored advice and warning, was during my sleep. Scales over my eyes, I was blind, I couldn't see. Preoccupied, disillusioned with a life of vanity. I was deceived, but gracefully He awakened me. Life He didn't take from me, but gave to me abundantly. Now I'm seeking what He wants from me, so spiritually. So in that same way, that's how I read. I was drowning like LL, I was in too deep, but the Most High pulled me out. Now I dive in these prophecies, cause I'm in spirit and truth. Now yeah, I'm God's property. Don't play game with my life no more, this ain't Monopoly. I'm thankful for His grace, He get all the praise. All praise to the Most High, that's who I do it for. I just wanna edify, don't need no recognition, ain't no one to magnify. He been so good to me, I just wanna testify, so let me testify. All praise to the Most High, that's who I do it for. I just wanna edify, don't need no recognition, ain't no one to magnify. He been so good to me, I just wanna testify, so let me testify. Have you been washed by the blood? Have you been washed by the blood? Has He made you brand new? Has He made you brand new? Have you been washed by the blood? Have you been washed by the blood? Has He made you brand new? Has He made you brand new? From all of your filth, He cleaned you up. He cleaned you up. Yeah. Was sentenced to death, He raised you up. He raised you up. Yeah, you was a mess, He made you up. In bed with your sin, was slay to her. Slay to her, yeah. Embrace you with such an amazing love. Amazing love, yeah. Exalting his name, you raise it up. You raise it up. No matter how much you praise, can't praise enough. Can't praise enough, yeah. He said, Hamashi, I've been washed by the blood. Have you been washed by the blood? Has he made you brand new? Has he made you brand new? Have you been washed by the blood? Have you been washed by the blood? Has he made you brand new? Has he made you brand new? Have you been washed by the blood? From all of your filth, he cleaned you up. He cleaned you up, yeah. Was sentenced to death, he raised you up. He raised you up. Yeah, you was a mess, he made you up. He made you up, yeah. In bed with your sin, was slay to her. Slay to her, yeah. Embrace you with such an amazing love. Amazing love, yeah. Exalting his name, you raise it up. You raise it up. No matter how much you praise, can't praise enough. Can't praise enough, yeah. He said, Hamashi, I've been washed by the blood. Has he made you brand new? Have you been washed by the blood? Has he made you brand new? Have you been washed by the blood?
Shalom, family. One of the most important things is for us to be holy. Now, what does that mean? That means we have to separate ourselves from the world and build unity and community. Grab yourself a shirt that expresses that message, and let's not just talk about it, let's live it.
Ain't no free will, it's all predestinated. From every death to every child brought forth through copulation. From the spouse that you choose to your current occupation, you either receive mercy or Yahweh's indignation. I can recollect on times that I could have been dead. Caught lacking, no strap, I had a knife instead. Played it cool, he wanted to kill me for how I used to move. Had to match his energy, portray that I was strapped too. But inside I'm praying to God, hoping he don't shoot. Then I'm whooping, telling him I know what he won't do. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Salvation ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Salvation ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Yeah, many are called, but few get chosen. Matthew 22 and 14. My righteousness gonna exceed that of the Pharisees. Do what they. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. And if you're trying to speak, I think I pulled it wrong. There you go. Peace and blessings, King.
Hey, peace, King. Peace, King. Peace, family.
So first, we want to start off as we always do by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, and we do so by Shem Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. I'm your brother Hurt, and tonight's lesson is Law and Order, the Balance of the People, Leviticus Chapter 7. So all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. And y'all, so just so you're aware, Leviticus Chapter 7 is pretty much a summary of all of the offerings that we've covered in the first 6 chapters. So all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Aki, want to add anything?
Nah, nothing to add. Definitely looking forward to the lesson. And just like we always say, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you can stay tapped in and locked in with all of the drops and everything like that. But nah, man, I don't have anything else outside of that. So I'll pass it back to you, good brother.
All praises. So, just so y'all are aware, since we're about to move forward throughout the book of Leviticus, this is the last time you're going to hear like an in-depth teaching on these sacrifices. So in your spare time, you go back, read these chapters, y'all. Not just for the literal instructions about sacrifice, but for the spiritual significance also, which we've covered throughout these lessons. This lesson is pretty much, we're going to focus on a couple key things, but a lot of it is just being repeated, the things we've already covered. So in your free time, go back, read these chapters again. Go back, listen to these lessons that we've done on these chapters also. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Um, Shalom, Sister Wendy, Brother YP, and Brother Paraz, and whoever else may be watching that just may have not commented yet. Peace and blessings also to you. Peace and blessings, Sister Andrea also. So all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. If you don't have anything else to add, we can go ahead and get it started. And we're gonna start with the first 10 verses, King.
Yes, sir. And can you let me know if you can see my screen?
Yeah, not yet. It's probably trying to load up. Peace and blessings, Sister Kanaya.
Hmm. Does it does it show up as buffering on the
And hey, Ezra. Peace and blessings, King. Young Prince.
Lord in Christ, man. All right, let me I don't know why this is doing this, man. Pardon me.
Come, come.
So
No
let me
problem. We got a little time. I don't think nobody no rush to go nowhere yet. Ezra, I think Ezra's saying something to me. I just can't make out what it is yet.
Yeah, he want point make so bad he be seeing me do it.
God, all praise to the Most High out of the mouth of babes.
That's right. That's right.
God. And if I need to, I can pull it up until you get your screen acting
Okay.
correct. I can go ahead and pull it up. It shouldn't
Okay.
be
I
long.
got you. Yeah, I'm gonna reset my laptop. I might have to do that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it, King.
All right, let me get this pulled up. All right, I'm about to get my screen shared. Just let me know when you can see it on your end, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yep, I can see it.
Con. All right, let's go. Leviticus 7. And I need to blow it up some.
Just a tad bit. Yeah, that should be fine.
Con.
That should suffice. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 7, verse number 1. Likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering, shall they kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar. And he shall offer of it all the fat thereof, the rump, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul that is above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests, it says, every male among the priests shall eat thereof. What am I at? Verse 6, Lucky. It says, every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. As the sin offering is, so is the trespass offering. There is one law for them. The priest that maketh atonement therewith shall have it. And the priest that offereth any man's burnt offering, even the priest shall have to himself the skin of the burnt offering, which he hath offered. And all the meat offering that is baking in the oven, baking in the oven, it says, and all that is dressed in the frying pan, In the pan shall be the priest that offereth it. And every meat offering mingled with oil and dry shall all the sons of Aaron have, one as much as another.
Con, all praise and Salaki. I forgot to scroll down my screen while you was reading. I was over here reading myself on my phone. But so when we look at these first 10 verses, and we see the subheading is the priest part in the offerings. We covered the priest part in the offerings earlier on in the book of Leviticus, and this just goes into depth again about the priest part in the offering. Now, what we see in verse 1 and 2, it says, likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering shall they kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar. So as we see with all of these different sacrifices, this is something that always took place, is that the priest would sprinkle all this blood, all of the blood of this sacrifice upon the altar. It says, and he shall offer of it all the fat thereof. This is another thing. The fat was always going to be burnt in the sacrifice. This was something that we wouldn't eat, the priest wouldn't eat, no one would consume. It was reserved for the Most High. It says the rump and the fat that covers the inward, so the inward parts. And it also says, and the two kidneys, which this is always going to be included in what will be burned to the Most High also. And the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul that is above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. And now verse 7 says, as the sin offering is, so is the trespass offering. There is one law for them. The priest that maketh atonement therewith shall have it. So there has to be a difference in the trespass and the sin offering. And I was doing some reading and some studying on this and what the worldview was as far as like what the difference was, like what the difference was between the trespass and the sin offering. And a common thought, which is incorrect, is that one was unintentional sin and the other was intentional sin. I found that to not be true after looking right here in these first 6 chapters. So let's look at Leviticus 4, and let's get verses 13 and 14, because they would say that the trespass offering was the unintentional sin, I believe. Yeah, and the sin offering would have been intentional sin, which makes no sense, and I'll explain why in a second. So let's get Leviticus 4, verses 13 and 14.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 4, verse number 13. And if the whole congregation of Israel sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done somewhat against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty, when the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the congregation shall offer a young bullock for the sin, and bring him before the tabernacle of the congregation.
Con. So this is the sin, which this is the law of sin offering that we read about in Leviticus chapter 4. And this is the sin that these scholars and I guess some of these church fathers would say. They would say this is the sin that, it was intentional, but the trespass offering was for unintentional sins or sins that were done through ignorance. But in Leviticus 4, it says that this sin offering would be offered up when Israel sinned through ignorance. So that makes that false. And the reason we know it's false is because both would have to be through unintentional sin. Why do I say that? Because if we are intentionally going around sinning, we can't go offer up a sacrifice. The Most High isn't going to accept a sacrifice from someone that habitually just goes around and sins. Let's go back to Leviticus 7, and oh, you know what? Let's go to Leviticus 5, because we're gonna read up on trespass offerings. Leviticus chapter 5, and I read verses 14 through 19.
Book of Leviticus chapter 5, beginning at verse number 14. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance in the holy things of the Lord, then he shall bring for his trespass unto the Lord a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with thy estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary for a trespass offering. And he shall make amends for the harm that he hath done in the holy thing, and shall add the fifth part thereto, and give it unto the priest, and the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And if a soul sin and commit any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of the Lord, though he wist it not, yet is he guilty, shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring a ram without blemish out of the flock with thy estimation for a trespass offering unto the priest, and the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his ignorance wherein he erred and wist it not, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering. He hath certainly trespassed against the Lord.
Khan, all praise to the Most High. So, looking at verses 14 through 19, it reads in verse 14 to 15, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance in the holy things of the Lord, then he shall bring for his trespass unto the Lord a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with thy estimations by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary for a trespass offering. So we see again that even with a trespass offering, this is for when someone sins through ignorance, and it gets brought to his mind that this is something that he's committed a sin in. He would have to make atonement for that sin. He would have to bring a sacrifice. Now, something that we see that's different about the trespass offering, in verse 16, it says, and he shall make amends for the harm that he have done in the holy thing, and shall add the fifth part thereto, and give it unto the priest, and the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. So this trespass offering is because you've trespassed or transgressed against the Most High, or even your brother or sister. And when you do transgress or trespass against your brother or sister or the Most High, you have to compensate. You have to recompense and pay restitution for whatever it is that you may have done to, whether it's injuring someone, whether it's damaging property. This is what a trespass offering is for, when you transgress against a brother or sister or the Most High, according to the holy things, as it says in verse 16. And we're going to go back to Leviticus 7 also. Let's go back to Leviticus 7, and I'm going to read, let me see, verse 7, I think it is. Not verse 7. What was it? Right. So it says, as the sin offering is, so is the trespass offering. There is one law for them. The priest that maketh atonement therewith shall have it. And it's another scripture I'm looking for in Leviticus 7. Did we read it yet? We were all offering self-skin. So there's one law for the priest that make atonement therewith. Okay, I think I'm thinking of another scripture. But when looking at the trespass offering, it's dealing with the holy things of the Most High, as I just showed in Leviticus chapter 5, and it's also dealing with just transgressing against your brother or sister. And Ak, if you want to add something, you can.
Yeah, just one quick point. I was doing a deep study last week on the different categories of violation concerning Torah. And one of the things that came up was because of course we have just what's understood as sin. When you look at the word for sin in Hebrew, it's going to be chet or chetat. So that's and also something, and this is if you go into it a little bit more, each violation doesn't automatically equate to a sin. There are some things where you're technically just impure. Um, and then there are other things that are abominations, and then some abominations they carry over to impurity, they carry over to iniquity, they carry over to these different violations, and they overlap many a times. But in reference to the trespass, um specifically Leviticus 5, with that particular reference, that's what's understood as ma'al, which in reference deals with a breach of faith. Like we look at that in different translations, it'll say a breach of faith, which would begin to make sense because this deals with a misappropriation and unauthorized usage. So that's why the text, when it begins off, it speaks about the misusage of the holy things. So yeah, I think that these are really really cool nuances to explore, because a lot of times they get overlooked, especially just with the book of Leviticus. Sometimes it can be a little bit technical, more than what somebody would like, and so they don't really go into these things. And even like a question like the trespass and the sin offering, they can sometimes they might, like how the brother mentioned, in some worldviews they might overstate certain things about it. But it's that that's why it's good to go through the Torah holistically. And he made the point earlier about, and I'm gonna end here. Made a point earlier about one being unintentional. Interestingly enough, uh, when you look at Numbers 15, it actually says that someone defiantly sinning or sinning with a high hand, they would be cut off from the people. You read that in Numbers 15, like 27 through 30. So you have one where someone, they can give an offering, because it was something in ignorance, and then someone sinning with a high hand, this is out and out rebellion, and there's no sacrifice for this particular act. And so that's why you have the writers like Hebrews, he's saying that there's no sacrifice for willful sin. He's getting that idea from what he reads in the Torah. But I yield right there.
Khan out the Water King, all praises. And Sister Wendy question. So trespassing is specifically for the holy things. So when dealing with the Most High, yes, in this instance with trespassing, because it would be a trespass offering against the most, it'll be a trespass against the Most High. And when you think about the holy things, so let's just say, because there was an example of this in one of these earlier chapters in the book of Leviticus. I think it could have been chapter 5 or chapter 4, where it talked about how the priest, when the priest would offer up something, they had to make sure that they themselves were pure, because if they're not pure and they offer up a sacrifice for us, that sacrifice is null and void. So now that comes back on that priest. So they would actually, after this is being found that they're not pure, they would have to go and make a completely different sacrifice. And that's a trespass offering that they would have to offer up, because they trespass against the laws of the Most High in the holy things, in the way that they would offer up sacrifice to the Father. So yeah, dealing with sacrifices and with the Father, that would be a trespass, because you're trespassing against the Most High. And a sin offering, that's just sinning against the Most High in general. So that hopefully that answers the question. And as far as with our brothers and sisters, that's just trespassing against them in general, doing something to offend your brother and sister, whether it's damaging property or harming them in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And at that, like I spoke to, that also came with financial You know, it had to come behind that. You had to pay some type of restitution also for the damage you did. And Ak, if you want to add to that, you can also.
Yeah. Can I? You mind if I share my screen?
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah. Just and to give one example, because typically, like just as you spoke to, a trespass, um, they can deal with like a treacherous act or or unfaithfulness, and so that's why like they have it there in the in context of the holy things, and then also they have it in they utilize it in context of us acting unfaithfully as a nation. Like you see the same usage in Leviticus 26, but we can also trespass against one another, as the brother made mention of. And one example would be Numbers chapter 5. If can you see my screen at all?
I'm talking on mute, Salaki. Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, one example be Numbers chapter 5, verse number 12. I assume it's loading.
Usury against each other would be trespass or transgression against your brother or sister, most definitely.
Mm.
Did it come up yet? No.
See
Say
on
no,
on my
numbers.
backstage is saying it's there.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Okay. That's weird.
Let me see.
Let me see. Hold on. Nope. I tried to add it to the stage, and it's acting like it got added.
Hey man, they something else today, man. But
That's crazy.
yeah, but the site the passage, this is Numbers chapter 5, verse 12. It says, say to the people of Israel, if any man's wife goes astray and acts unfaithfully against him. So the unfaithful adjective right there, that would be the word ma'al in Hebrew. And this would be in reference to a trespass or a treacherous act. And when you read this whole context, it goes into like the law of jealousy, and there's a particular potion that's made, and if the woman she actually is guilty of the particular act, then she'll swell and she'll be an omen or like a sign in Israel that she dealt unfaithfully with the husband, etc. But like this right here would be an example of another example of trespassing against one, and in the context it's dealing with being of acts of unfaithfulness or like treachery. So like you kind of see it in that context, and then like overall sins, like going into the word for sin is missing the mark. So it can be a plethora of ways in which we can wander from the mark of the Most High. That could include adultery, that could include idolatry, but that also can include stealing, that also can include a number of other things. So and guess what, there can be contexts where stealing that can count as a trespass. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like a lot of the categories, very interesting study. I would definitely suggest everybody look into it, because these particular terms, they get utilized very strategically throughout the Torah. So it's very important stuff. But I yield right there.
Our beautiful point and information. All praise to the Most High. So I guess I'll start back sharing because they ain't gonna let you be great today. It don't seem like.
Yeah, man, they treat me like I got an Android, man. It's crazy.
I mean, you mean like you got what you got? Apple device. Hi. So like I stated earlier, y'all, like these both trespass offering and sin offerings, they would be unintentional sins. Nobody's just gonna be going around in Israel and just doing whatever they feel like doing, just sinning intentionally and saying, "Oh, it's time for me to go make my sacrifice, man." What? You gonna get ran out the temple because you was a well-known idolater or whatever the case may be, and then you come in that temple trying to make a sacrifice. It ain't gonna be accepted by the priest, nevertheless, the Most High. But let's go to Hosea chapter 6 to further make that point. And Ak, if you could read verses 4 through 7.
It's the book of Hosea chapter 6, beginning at verse number 4. O Ephraim, what shall I do unto thee? O Judah, what shall I do unto thee? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew, it goeth away. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets, I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. But they, like men, have transgressed the covenant. There have they dealt treacherously against me.
Khan, all praise. So in verse 4 it says, O Ephraim, what shall I do unto thee? O Judah, what shall I do unto thee? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew, it goeth away. So he's making the point that the northern and the southern kingdom, they angered him because they were only good for a moment. They were only obedient for a moment. And as the early dew, it just disappeared. It just went away. It says, therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. I have slain them by the words of my mouth. And thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. So the Most High, he never intended on us having to, and I'm not going to say intended, but it wasn't, the design wasn't for us to just be offering up sacrifices for messing up just over and over again. He rather we just be obedient, just listen to what he tell us to do, and we don't have to go through these stages and these steps. It says, for I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. With the knowledge of God, when we apply it, we don't have to offer up burnt offerings, because we're going to be doing what we're supposed to do and not have to make these certain sacrifices. Verse 7 says, but they, like men, have transgressed the covenant. There have they dealt treacherously against me. And this is how we deal treacherously against the Most High. This is how we trespass against the Most High. When we transgress his covenant and we don't do the things he tells us to do, we are actually just walking on the covenant as if it means nothing. And he can't accept the offering when we are willingly sinning. All right, let's go to 1 Samuel 15. And let's read verses 22 and 23.
It's the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse number 22. And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
Right. So if rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, we know that sin offerings and trespass offerings, the difference can't be that one you knowingly sinning and the other one you ignorantly sinning. Because if you are actively against the Most High, that's like witchcraft. And the Most High isn't dealing with a sacrifice. You're not going to be able to offer up a trespass or a sin offering or any other type of offering that the Most High is going to be pleased with. But if you want to make a point, you can before we continue.
Yeah, that's that's a great point. And just even going back to Numbers 5, and also, I'm sorry, not Numbers 5, Leviticus 5 and Leviticus 7, those trespasses in mind, they would have to be, for things that weren't deliberate, because then if, it's either one or two things. It's either has to be a contradiction in the Torah, or the law is actually changing as it's being given. So one thing is said in Leviticus, and then later on in Numbers, something else is said. And I mean, that would lend to the idea of a progressive covenantalism that people they try to say that's in the Bible, but um, yeah, I don't personally, I don't see that. And again, reading the rest of the text, it actually makes a lot of sense. Hosea 6, that's one context where we dealt treacherously, and that was, you know, um, a particular circumstance. But like Leviticus 5, that's another context where you see the misappropriation of items being utilized unwittingly. So, that definitely great points.
Like all praises, all praises. And just like I mean, I just brought up the scripture in Hosea when it say we dealt treacherously with the Most High. When you think about what he said to them, that they did good for a little moment, so they knew what they were supposed to do. They just started doing what they weren't supposed to do knowingly, and this is how we deal treacherously with the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Let's continue reading, and let's read Leviticus 7, verses 11 through 18.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 7, verse number 11. And this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he shall offer unto the Lord. If he offer it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cakes mingled with oil of fine flour fried. Besides the cakes, he shall offer for his offering leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offerings. And it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for an heave offering unto the Lord, and it shall be the priest that sprinkleth the blood and of the peace offerings, and the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering be a vow or a voluntary offering, it shall be eaten the same day that he offereth his sacrifice, and on the morrow also the remainder of it shall be eaten. But the remainder of the flesh of the sacrifice on the third day shall be burnt with fire. Verse number 18. It says, and if any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings be eaten at all on the third day, it shall not be accepted, neither shall it be imputed unto him that offereth it. It shall be an abomination, and the soul that eateth of it shall bear his iniquity.
All praise to the Most High. So let's look at these first few verses that we read. It says, and this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he shall offer unto the Lord. If he offer it for thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cakes mingled with oil of fine flour fried. Besides the cakes, he shall offer for his offering leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offerings. And of it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for a heave offering unto the Lord, and it shall be the priest that sprinkleth the blood of the peace offerings. So with these peace offerings, what we see, it says in verse 12 that you offer it for thanksgiving. This was our way of thanking the Most High for all that he did for us. It was just a voluntary offering that we will offer up. It wasn't something that the Most High said, hey, you have to do this like the daily offering every day or something. It's definitively for a Thanksgiving offering, our way of saying thanks to the Most High, and also a way just to celebrate, because we got to actually eat part of this offering also, not the part that was reserved for the Most High, but the remainder that wasn't reserved for the Most High would be divided up between us and the priest. We would actually sit around and have a feast. So this was just a time of celebration. Let's look at Leviticus chapter 3. And let's get verses 12 through 17 so we can look back at these peace offerings.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 3, starting at verse 12. You said through 17. It says, "And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of it and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about, and he shall offer thereof his offering, even the offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is the Lord's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood."
Khan, just reiterating that point. We wouldn't eat any of the fat or the blood. It was reserved for the Most High. And just because he told us not to eat these things. So looking back at verse 12, it says, "And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of it and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereon upon the altar round about, and he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire to the Lord, the fat that cover the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away." So it's just showing that the same way that we did all these other sacrifices, it's the same way we would continue with this sacrifice as far as what we offer to the Father. And verse 16 says, "And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is the Lord." So this voluntary offering, which is a peace offering, would be specifically for a sweet savor to the Most High. It's our way of saying thank you, in a way that we would basically offer up something that would be pleasing to him. So all praise to the Most High. Let's go back to Leviticus 7, verses 15 through 18. And get back there. And I'm going to read these again. I'm going to read them one by one. So it says in verse 15, "And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning." So when we would do these Thanksgiving offerings, if there was nothing that was supposed to be left until the morning. Chat, what does this remind y'all of? And I'm going to continue going while y'all answer that. Verse 16, "But if the sacrifice of his offering be a vow or a voluntary offering, it shall be eaten the same day that he offered his sacrifice, and on the morrow also the remainder of it shall be eaten." So with this type of offering, which is still a Thanksgiving, a peace offering, it says if it's a vow, like if you're making a vow to the Most High and you offering this up and saying, we could just use the Nazarite vow, for an example. You're going to make the Nazarite vow and you offer up this offering, then you're supposed to eat it that same day that you offer the sacrifice. And on the morrow, you can also eat the remainder. But what we saw with the first offering, the initial offering, if it's just a plain peace offering, Thanksgiving offering, it had to be gone before the morning came. Verse 17, "But the remainder of the flesh of the sacrifice on the third day shall be burnt with fire." So in verse 17, you would have had to, it shows that on the third day, regardless of whatever type of peace offering it was, by the third day, it needs to be burnt with fire. And if you want to add anything, you can also.
Yeah, were you gonna make a point on well, I assume you're gonna make a point on 18 because I had a point on 18.
You can go ahead and make one.
Yeah, because when you look at verse 18, it says, "And if any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings be eaten at all on the third day, it shall not be accepted. So it already in verse 17, basically it prohibits you from eating it that third day. But then watch the latter clause. It says, neither shall it be imputed unto him that offereth it. It shall be an abomination, meaning that's something disgusting. And the soul that eateth it, that eateth of it, shall bear his iniquity. Iniquity in the Hebrew, that's a one, and that's a twisted morality, quote unquote. So right there, this is something that's obviously a sin. And it says you would bear the iniquity. Now I'll put in the chat with that what iniquity would be born. When you look at it, because it speaks literally about the same thing, Leviticus 19, same peace offering, gives you the rundown of the first, second, third day. It says, and everyone who eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned a holy thing of the Lord, and that person shall be cut off from his people. So that punishment was you'd be cut off. Now, however you want to argue, oh well, being cut off, you just being exiled. That's all it is. If you want to say that, okay. But this seems to be extremely harsh. And this again is dealing with the holy things of the Most High, something sacred, a sacred meal, if you will. So I would say that this would be in reference to you being put to death or executed within our society and under our judgment. Because you can't play around with the service of the Most High. And you kind of see that theme, that motif all throughout the Torah. But that was my only point there. I'll pass it back to you, King.
Beautiful point. And the only point I'm gonna add to that is, so with this type of violation, the only way we would go back to square one, and square one is what we were dealing with first, the trespass offering. The only way they would qualify to actually, when they find out, like, oh man, I didn't know it was the third day, they would have to actually not know. Someone would have to make a mistake and eat something and didn't burn it or whatever the case may be, because they would have trespassed against the Most High in the holy thing. But if they knowingly sit there and say, well, I mean, it'll be good, I'm gonna eat it on the third day anyway. What I just brought out is that they were supposed to be cut off, point blank, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. This equates to what? Willful sin. It's the same way that the Most High deals with us all throughout the text. That if we're willfully sinning, you're going to eventually be cut off. If it's not immediate, like the judgment that was brought forth in Torah, it's eventually going to happen. You're going to be cut off. And Sister Wendy and Brother Aaron answered the question. And let me go back to the text, so just in case somebody didn't catch it. So verse 15 says, and the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning. And that's the correct answer. It's Passover. And I said Exodus 12 and 10. All praise to the Most High. Let's see. All right, so let's go forward in Leviticus 7. And let's read verses 19 through 21.
Continuing on, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 7, starting at verse 19. And the flesh that toucheth any unclean thing shall not be eaten. It shall be burnt with fire. And as for the flesh, all that be clean shall eat thereof. But the soul that eateth of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings that pertaineth unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, the soul that shall touch any unclean thing, as the uncleanness of man, or any unclean beast, or any abominable thing, or abominable unclean thing, and eat of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which pertain unto the Lord, even that soul shall be cut off from his people.
Right. All praise. So this is reiterating what I just got through bringing out in Leviticus 19, verse 8. And it's saying the same thing, that if you did these things, because you're being warned with these laws being given. And as far as like the priest and how they preside over the assembly, they have to know these certain laws and ways that they're supposed to handle these offerings, because it was a serious thing. If you know that the sentence for messing up with something in of this nature, that the consequence is death, why would you do it? You would take care that you wouldn't transgress in any way when dealing with the holy things of the Most High, because this is how serious he was about the holy things that were offered up to him. He took it very serious, where we didn't have the room for error. Um, let's look at, and if you want to add something, you can.
None to add, King.
So let's just continue reading verses 22 through 27.
Verse number 22. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Ye shall eat no manner of fat of ox or of sheep or of a goat, and the fat of the beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. For whosoever eateth the fat of the beast, of which men offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, even the soul that eateth it shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, ye shall eat no manner of blood, whether it be of fowl or of beast, in any of your dwellings. Whatsoever soul it be that eateth any manner of blood, even that soul shall be cut off from his people.
All praises. So it's just restating what we covered already, that you're not supposed to eat any manner of blood, any fat. Anybody that did these things would be cut off from his people. But what we see in verse 24, it says, And the fat of the beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts, may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. So it's letting us know that you can use the fat or other parts of the animal for other uses, but you wouldn't be able to eat of the sacrifice or of the fat, salaki, of the fat. And if you want to add to that, King, you can.
Nah, nothing to add, King. You got it.
Time. So let's continue. Let's finish out this chapter, verses 28 through 34.
Continuing on verse 28. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, He that offereth the sacrifice of his peace offerings unto the Lord shall bring his oblation unto the Lord of the sacrifice of his peace offerings. His own hands shall bring the offerings of the Lord made by fire. The fat with breast, or with the breast, it shall he bring, that the breast may be waved for a wave offering before the Lord. And the priest shall burn the fat upon the altar, but the breast shall be Aaron's and his sons. And the right shoulder shall ye give unto the priest for an heave offering of the sacrifices of your peace offerings. He among the sons of Aaron that offereth the blood of the peace offerings, and the fat shall have the right shoulder for his part. For the wave breast and heave shoulder have I taken of the children of Israel from off the sacrifices of their peace offerings, and have given them unto Aaron the priest, and unto his sons by statute forever from among the children of Israel.
So the right shoulder and the breast were supposed to be brought for Aaron and his sons. So the remainder of that animal would have been gave to the children of Israel to actually partake in eating of, to have this Thanksgiving, pretty much a Thanksgiving celebration, but not the one that they do in November into Babylon. But it would have been a Thanksgiving celebration to the Most High about what He's done for the people. So all praise to the Most High. Let's 35 through 38.
This is Leviticus 7, chapter 35, or verse 35. This is the portion of the anointing of Aaron and the anointing of his sons out of the offerings of the Lord made by fire in the day when he presented them to the minister, or to minister unto the Lord in the priest office, which the Lord commanded to be given them of the children of Israel in the day that he anointed them by a statute forever throughout their generations. This is the law of the burnt offering, of the meat offering, and of the sin offering, and of the trespass offering, and of the consecrations, and of the sacrifice of the peace offerings, which the Lord commanded Moses in Mount Sinai in the day that he commanded of the children of Israel. He commanded the children of Israel to offer their oblations unto the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai.
All praises. So we're gonna look at something, y'all. So when you think about, let's look at these last two verses. It says, "This is the law of the burnt offering, of the meat offering, and of the sin offering, and of the trespass offering, and of the consecrations, and of the sacrifice of the peace offerings, which the Lord commanded Moses in Mount Sinai in the day that he commanded the children of Israel to offer their oblations unto the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai." So these sacrifices, these offerings that were given and explained to Moses, they were given in the wilderness of Sinai, but they weren't given when Moses went up to Mount Sinai. We know and understand what was given to him because we have, the evidence of what was given, because he came down and he gave it to the children of Israel. But we're going to look at exactly when the Most High gave Moses these different offerings to give to the children of Israel, and why he chose to do it at the time he did. Let's go to Exodus chapter 40, and let's read verses 34 through 38.
The book of Exodus, chapter 40, beginning at verse number 34. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout their journeys.
All praise. So it talks about the tent of the congregation. And I'm going to scroll up so y'all can just see the subtitle to the beginning of this chapter. The tabernacle erected. So the tabernacle was built, and then we see that the glory of the Most High came and filled the tabernacle. So at this point in time, before the tabernacle is erected, there's no need for the Most High to give Moses instructions on offerings because there's no temple to bring the offerings to. Let's go to Leviticus 1. This is the next chapter over, y'all. We're just gonna go right over here, and I'll just read verse 1 and 2.
My bad, I was reading on mute. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 1, beginning at verse number 1. And the Lord called unto Moses and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock.
So he spoke to him out of the tabernacle of the congregation. He didn't speak to him at Mount Sinai when he gave the law of these different offerings, the laws of these different offerings. So just for some context and some, that's like something that people don't really just think about. Like, when did he give the offerings, the laws for the offerings? It wasn't the same time that he gave the 10 Commandments and he gave most of the Torah to Moses to give to the people. And Ak, if you want to add something, you can.
No, nothing to add specifically. All praise to the Most High. A beautiful lesson, King.
All praise to the Most High. I just sold you. Let me see. You want to speak on it, Art?
I mean, nah, I was like that thought came to my mind. I don't know if that actually might be something to go into more directly when we address Exodus, because we gonna see that point a lot.
Right.
It's man, I and just I'll say this, just generally speaking. One day I was sitting down just thinking about it. I'm like, man, just how it's currently constructed, we're gonna be going into the law for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Um, just the book of Deuteronomy and the book of Leviticus, uh, just based upon the what do you call it, the schedule,
Hmm.
we will be in these respective books until 2027.
Wow.
Now, think about going to Exodus and think about going to Numbers. They have a multitude of chapters and it's a lot of stuff to cover. So I think this is actually beautiful that we get to we have the opportunity to kind of just sit down and go through all of these points. And for me, I don't take it for granted, because like, even when I've read the book of Leviticus a myriad of times, but when the brother is going into it, I actually sit back and sometimes I locate points, or points will be brought out that I didn't necessarily think too hard on beforehand. And that's why I think, these classes are excellent. So, all praises to the Most High. I look forward to the rest of Leviticus. Um, whenever the future time comes for when we go into Exodus or Numbers, I look forward to those times as well, because it's going to be a lot of profound information that's going to come forth. So all praises to the Most High. I yield right there.
All praises, King. And you know what's funny and what's crazy? While I'm putting the lessons together, sometimes a lot of stuff that I find during while we actually giving a lesson, if something else might stick out to me that I didn't see while I was studying.
Right.
That's it's so beautiful when you continue to read the laws of the Most High. More things are going to be brought to your attention. This is going to increase your understanding from having being happy with your studying the law. So he's going to help you to continue to understand it even more and increase your wisdom. So all praise to the Most High. And I don't think I have anything else, King, unless you got anything you want to add, any announcements or anything like that. And if y'all got any comments, any questions, y'all can place them in the chat also. Always new points and revelations whenever I reread the scriptures. It should be, we should be continuing to learn when we read these scriptures.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
All praises.
Else has anything, you can take us out.
All praises to the Most High. We'll close out. One more thing. I dropped a video yesterday titled a commandment about everything, going into the Shema. And this is, pretty much just detailing Deuteronomy 6 and 4, just going into that a little bit and highlighting how this is not just a popular Hebrew phrase that people like to use or say, but it's actually one of the most important commandments and passages in the whole entire Hebrew Bible, because it's pointing to fidelity towards our God, having Him as our God alone. So I put that in the chat, and whenever you guys get a chance, make sure y'all go check that out, give it a thumb up, and everything like that. But yeah, I don't got nothing else, and if there'll be nothing else, I'll close it out. Numbers chapter 6 and 24 on down. Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And with that, I'll say peace and shalom.
Shalom, Mark. Shalom, family. Nobody told me that this road would be easy. So if somebody told you that, then don't believe them. Nobody told me that this road would be easy. So if somebody told you that, then don't believe them. Gotta be refined like silver. Purified. Gotta be tried like gold. Purified. Gotta be refined like silver. Purified. Gotta be tried like gold. Purified. You ain't fighting the flesh, it's cause you giving in. Should've never started the race if you ain't intend to win. Adversity can destroy you or be your best friend. Just cause you fail one time don't make you less than. You just gotta be aware and correct your error. Messiah on the way back, I feel it in the air. Trying to inherit the kingdom, wanna be your fellow heir. If you bring nothing to the table, can't pull up a chair. When I rebuke you, his love is just because I care. Plus when the separation happen, I don't want you to be a tear. You think you ain't gotta do nothing to get eternal life, but that misapplication of grace is a total lie. Gotta be refined like silver. Purified. Gotta be tried like gold. Purified. Gotta be refined like silver. Purified.